I've got to admit, I kind of barely recognize this place. I mean, just looking around, it's like the farm has grown into a jungle. So for like the last week or so, I've been out in California. I just got back late last night, I guess technically early this morning. And right now my mind is just boggled by the fact that like everything has grown an insane amount. But the farm chores must be done. Oh, look who's here. It's the two that I love the most. I've missed you both. Hey, no jumping. Good to see you. Hi. How are my dogs? Good to see you both. All right, we got farm chores to do. Let's go, guys. Come on. I mean, would you guys look at this? The grass and weeds have just like gone crazy in the last week. So while I've been gone, we've had a lot of rain and it's been pretty darn warm. And so yes, the farm is feeling like a tropical climate right now. I mean, sheesh. Would you guys look at this? This is insane. I'm gonna do a quick check of some things, but this morning might also be the moment when I let my goslings out and start integrating them into the wild. So stay tuned for that. So in general, I try to actively avoid ever leaving the farm. And that really goes double for leaving the farm during the summertime. But unfortunately, I actually had to leave the farm last week. And so that's how I find myself in this weird situation where I've got to dig out of some stuff and get kind of reacquainted. And Abby dog, we're gonna take you up to the top of the pasture today. Come on. I got to admit, it's kind of nice to be back on the farm bike. A week off is a long time, you know? But like I said, that trip was very necessary, just very hard timing. My gosh, would you guys look at the permaculture orchard? It's insane how much growth we got going on right now. I think I just swallowed a bug. Come on, Ab, let's go. I think I see Belinda Carlisle. I'm pretty sure I have a Belinda Carlisle sighting. You know, of all the famous people sightings I had in Los Angeles last week, I didn't see anybody of the caliber of Belinda Carlisle or Bonnie McMurray. How's it going, sweetie? Yeah. Hi. Boop you on the booper snoot. Looks like they still got plenty of grass in their paddock, but I'll probably move them tomorrow down to the next pasture. Gosh, would you look at all this grass up here? I'm probably gonna have to come out here and brush hog because it just grows so quick and it grows so thick. You know, it's kind of funny. You can see the exact path that my farm sitter took on the ATV here, but the rest of this pasture has really grown out in a significant way. Good morning, chickens. Good morning, coos. How's everybody doing this morning, huh? I must say it is actually really nice to see everybody out here. So they've spent the last week in this area. Actually, it looks like they still got plenty of grass to graze, so I might not even move them today. Good morning, Anna Green Gables. How are you? Chewing on that there cud? Hey, Macho Man, I hear you've been putting in some work. So apparently Annabelle, who's sitting back there, she's gone into heat. And so Macho Man has started to do his job. How's it going, Joey Ramone? And hey, look, it's the fold's newest member. You guys look at just how much bigger she's gotten in the span of about a week. So I don't know if you guys know this, but we did name her. I don't think I mentioned it in a previous video, but her name is going to be, or I should say her name is Beatrix Potter. You know, since this is the year that I'm releasing my first book, particularly a book written for children, a couple of different viewers suggested that I go with Beatrix Potter because we were looking for a B name, and honestly that felt perfect to me. And so yes, little Beatrix Potter is out here in the pasture with everybody else. Her mom's actually over there eating grass, but she's got all of her aunties here hanging out with her. She's got her good friend Abby hanging out here with her as well. It's actually funny watching the two of them become friends. I was gonna try to come over and brush Beatrix, but I don't know, she seems a little skittish this morning. Yeah, she suddenly got shy on me. You know, it's funny, for a good long while, she was actually letting me brush her for the first, I don't know, week or so of her life, but then I leave for a week and now she barely knows me. C'est la vie, says the old folks. It goes to show you never can tell. I did want to take a minute and show you guys that this right here is the cover of the new Toby Dog book. The pre-sales are going to start in a few short weeks, and then it'll be available for sale officially and for reading in September. If you want all the latest information as well as some information on how you can score some free copies of the book, as well as maybe get like an early release version for review purposes, be sure to sign up for our mailing list down below. For the longtime viewers of our channel, you guys know just how long we've been working on this one, and so I'm super excited to show you. And yes, the illustrations look amazing, and I'm so excited about how the cover turned out too. Actually, next week, I've got to go into the recording studio to record the audio version of the book. It's going to be like a full production. You know, I was originally planning on doing like all the voices and everything and reading it entirely myself, but I got to admit, as I was doing some of the sample runs and practice sessions, I got to the conclusion that what this really needed was actually a couple of actors. And so it's going to be me narrating and reading most of the book. But then, you know, in terms of the voices of a lot of the characters, I've got a couple of great folks lined up, like to read and be Toby Dog and Pablo Barncat and Lil Barncat and the such. How's it going, chickens? How are you doing? Yeah, chickens are due to move as well. So probably what I'll do is later today, I'll move the cattle out of this yard and move them into the next paddock. Tonight, I'll move the chickens right here to where the cattle are. And yeah, I'm also gonna have to replace the fly traps as well. As you can see, this is about a week's worth of flies on here and on there. But I've got to say, as I've been keeping up with the fly trapping, it has made a massive difference, and I haven't had the infestations like I had last year. And so for all those wondering, how do you control your flies naturally with your cattle? The combination of chickens and trapping really does seem to work for me. All right, a quick check of the waterer says that everything is nice and full and where it should be. That's a good sign. Yeah, so this hydrant runs all the way down to the bottom. You guys saw me turn it on when I first started this video. And so, yeah, it takes, I don't know, maybe about 10, 15 minutes to fill up if it's entirely empty. I run it twice a day and that leaves me everything I need for water for my whole cattle herd up here. Here you can see the difference in grazing. This side, the cattle had access to this entire time. This side has been untouched. And yeah, it looks like a jungle, doesn't it? Howdy, Ariel. How's it going, sweetie? Wanna come and say hello? More jostling with Annabelle. So Annabelle's the one who's in heat right now. And so I've noticed her jostling and jousting with all of the animals has increased. Like whenever one of the cows goes into heat, it seems like the jostling and jousting always increases. And so you gotta be extra careful in the situations when you have that with your herd. And particularly with Macho Man around, I need to, number one, make sure he doesn't see me as competition, and number two, not see me as a potential relationship. That would not be good. Would you look at that? So Joey Ramone is actually Annabelle's son, and you can see the two of them nuzzling and boxing out a little bit too. You know, at this point, you know, Joey's a little bit over a year old. He is, you know, seeming like a much more mature member of the herd, and so if she gets pregnant in this cycle, he kind of gets totally kicked to the curb by her. And so I don't know, maybe that's what's happening now. Maybe she's already pregnant and she knows it and I don't. She's like, you're too big to be my kid anymore. You got that? And in case anybody's wondering, I'm not worried about Joey Ramone impregnating her because he was castrated back in the winter. And so he is actually a steer, not a bull like Macho Man. She doesn't want to have anything to do with me. Come here, Beatrix. I'm just crouched down here waiting very patiently to see if she comes over here. Beatrix, come here. Oh, look at her scratch herself. Everything she does is adorable. And how are things doing with my cluckers, huh? Everybody good? Hey, Barbara, your hair is looking great right there. I have to fill up your water bucket. And you guys look like you need some food. Yeah, we got a lot of rain last night. The weather's actually been crazy, crazy humid, and it's hot. I mean, it's like 5:30 in the morning right now, and it's, I don't know, 68 degrees, 69 degrees, and just really thick, humid weather. But I'm really not complaining because we can always use the rain. It's been so dry earlier this spring. Yeah, it was a really dry spring, and so we can definitely use the rain right now. But it makes it for less than ideal hanging out on the farm conditions. All right, let's see what we got for eggs this morning. Ooh, already got a bunch. So these are probably from yesterday. So these eggs, I probably won't eat or sell, but they're gonna end up going in the incubator because we're getting into the time where I'm gonna start hatching my own chicken eggs. Most of these girls are about 1.5 to 2 years old. Some of them are even older than that. So that means it's time to add some replacement chickens to the farm. I actually have an order of chicks also coming from a hatchery, I think next week. They're from my friends over at Murray McMurray. They're a great hatchery, you should check them out. And so those new chicks plus these chicks will end up being hatched out. What I'll do, like I did 2 years ago, is I'm going to hatch out a whole bunch of chicks. The roosters that I end up getting, I will cull and they will become meat for my wife and me, just basically our own food. And then the hens will start laying by next spring and they will become the replacements. I might thin this flock out a little bit too. And some of the older hens that I'm not incredibly emotionally attached to might end up as stewing birds as well. Quite honestly, that's just part of the life cycle. But don't worry, Carmen's not going anywhere. Barbara's not going anywhere. Like my OG chicken crew is gonna pretty much stay here in perpetuity. I'm talking about the generation that was hatched from that first group of chickens. Those gals who are hybrids might end up going to the freezer. Hey, Abby dog, come here. Come on, sweetie. All right, we need to have a little conversation. So I'm gonna leave you up here with the cattle and the chickens this morning. Your job is to be the guard dog and make sure nothing happens. So you are in charge. This week is also the last week of training for Abby to make sure she's ready to stay up here full time. I've been doing this a lot over the last month of leaving her up here unsupervised and she's doing really well. I probably even could have let her stay up here all last week, but since I wasn't on farm and it was just my farm sitter, I didn't necessarily want to create a situation where there'd be problems to solve. And so, like I said, this week we'll be doing some final trial runs, just making sure she's fully reacclimated because she had like a week off last week. But then by the end of this week, she'll be up here. But I do have to finish building her dog house for up here as well. You know, in terms of water, she'll just basically drink the same water as the cattle right from their clean, fresh trough. The only thing she'll really need is like a dog house so that in case it rains or she wants to get out of the sun, she has a place to like shelter down. So I'm working on my final steps on that plan. And so that'll be ready very, very soon. And I don't know, probably in a week or two, you'll see a video about Abby staying up here for the first time. It's another big step on the farm. Look, Abs, your job's gonna be to stay here, okay? I'll come back and visit you in a little bit. I know. I think you're gonna do a wonderful job up here with the cattle. And like I said, I'll be back up around lunchtime to check on you and move the cattle. So there's that too. I mean, isn't this precious? My little girl's growing up. All right, I'll see you in a bit, Abby dog. Now, I didn't have to do it last year, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to mow the permaculture orchard this year. Because we only have the 2 heifers out here in the pasture, they have not even remotely been able to keep up with the grass. And I thought that the geese might be able to help, but really there's just too much space for them. And so I'm gonna need to start mowing this pasture because it's getting so thick and so tall. You know, this really does have me realizing at some point I'm probably gonna need another animal to come in through here to graze, whether it be more cattle or if I added something like sheep, like that would be where they could work through things. But the other thing I will say is, would you look at these trees? I mean, you got a chestnut tree in the foreground there, you got a mulberry tree in the background. Some of these trees are looking pretty crazy right now, and so I'm very excited with how much things have grown in the permaculture orchard. It's just that it's growing quicker than I can keep up with. Well, if it isn't Mon Frere. That's Alfred's truck. That's a whole bunch of stone from Alfred. But what I don't see is Alfred, so I'm not quite sure what this mystery's about. I don't know where he went. We'll solve this mystery later. We got more farm chores to do. Hey, buddy boy. You've been patiently waiting? Good boy. All right, Toby, we do have to tackle this weed problem. While I do have some weed whacker work I need to do today, I'm gonna be a little bit lazy and outsource this portion of the weed whacking work to some friends that I have. Yes, as you guys can see here, the oat grass that I planted has been completely decimated at this point. And it is time to let loose the goose. Yes, my new flock is getting quite chaotic. They've also grown quite a bit, as you guys can see. I mean, we have some that look like full-grown geese at this point. Then we have others that are a little bit on the small side, but I think they're gonna do okay if I let them loose. And so today, with Abby up on the top of the pasture, I'm gonna let the geese just wander free range all through this lower pasture. And watch, they're gonna go crazy here in a second for all the fresh stuff. As long as they can figure out how this fence works, I guess. Whoa, what was that? I don't know if you guys could hear that over on the mic over the cacophony, but there was something crazy that just happened. What is it, Toby? What is it? What is it? Something's got your hackles up. I know that. I wonder if it was Alfred, maybe? Good morning, Pablo Barn Cat. How's it going, pal? So my buddy Alfred, he just dumped a whole pile of stone over there. So what's going on?
Well, that's a pile of custom split gauged wall stone from the Vermont Heritage Granite Company. About half of what I need down here on this job, and we're getting ready to build a little retaining wall on the downhill side of the new barn here.
So, but you will be able to watch Alfred's progress. You should actually check out his channel. I'll leave a link down for it below and find out what Vermont Heritage Granite Company is doing.
Yeah, we're doing.
Yeah, it's really good to see Alfred again. I'm a person who lives in so much routine in terms of my day in and day out and so little changes, and I spend so much time right here on the farm that when I go away for a week and break routine, it just totally messes everything up. By the way, one of the projects I'm gonna try to tackle probably today, if it doesn't start pouring rain too soon, is finishing off this thing. This is actually going to be a new shade structure and shelter for the goslings. So the way it's going to work is I'm going to put some tarps down on this backside, pick this up, and walk with it, move it around. As you may recall, I was originally building this structure as a shade structure for the cattle, but I got like halfway into building it and came to the conclusion that it was nowhere near sturdy enough to put up with the beating that the cattle will do, but I think it's going to make for a perfect shelter for the goslings. Speaking of the goslings, Toby dog, looks like you've got some monsters wandering around here, huh? They're all over the place. Uh-oh, wait a minute, I don't want that. Hey, stay out of that greenhouse, you guys, please. Out, out, out. No, 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 no. No, 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 you guys are going the wrong way. I don't want you in here. Hey, out, out, out. You're causing problems, little ones. What are you doing? You're going the wrong way. This is the one downside of having goslings everywhere. Come on, hang on. Calm yourself, calm yourself. Toby, are you gonna give this one a talking to? Yeah, here you go. There's all your brothers and sisters. And Toby, we're gonna have to keep this door shut. Actually, Bo, before I do, did want to show you guys. Yeah, our gardening experiment is booming at this point. We got some cabbages forming down here. The buckwheat is going buck wild. Got some oat grass popping up, more buckwheat. And then I feel like the crown jewel are the pumpkins. Like if you look right here, I think I'm gonna have some pumpkins forming. They just got through their flowering, and so should have a bunch of pumpkins. And so far, this has actually been a pretty successful food situation that we have coming here. Toby dog likes sleeping in here as well. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to block his access while I have all those goslings running around. Come on, Toby dog, we gotta lock this up. Molly was terrified of the flock of goslings. They actually split up. I think there's a bunch of them over there, and we got this bunch over here. I think I still have about 50 goslings around here. So yeah, they're doing good, but I'm sure they're gonna want me to feed them pretty soon. Toby, can you be like a babysitter for me and just watch out for these guys? Yeah?
A few minutes later.
Did you look at poor Toby dog? That dog has the patience of a saint. All these goslings just climbing around, and he's just kind of like, yeah, do. I'm just doing my thing. So now this is going to be really the start of them transitioning to a fully pasture-based diet. I do need to give them some greens just to get them going here. So for roughly the next week, they'll still be living in the brooder house, but then coming out during the day. For next week, I'll put them out to the pasture full time. There is enough of them, and our weather is going to be warm enough that I'm not too worried about cold or chill, just because they're getting to the point where they're mature enough where that shouldn't be a problem. Uh-oh, did you guys look at that? Wu-Tang killer bees, they gonna swarm. Huh, I wonder what's going on there. I doubt I'm gonna have time to do it before the rain starts today, but I really do need to suit up into my beekeeper costume and check on my hives. There's a whole story about that, but I don't even want to get into it right now. Oh, look at that. Our catnip patch is starting to blossom. You can see it's starting to come up. You know, I did super simple broadcast planting to get stuff going here. My Lord, I'm gonna have to come through here and clear this out today. That's definitely on my agenda. Wow, would you look at how weedy this has all gotten? These weeds are good because I really wanted the organic material to come up, and these various plants actually introduce different things into the soil and draw stuff up from deep in the ground. But yeah, I gotta clear it out. In particular, I don't want things like this thistle to flower, but if I let it grow to a certain extent, that's actually not a bad thing, so we're gonna do that. All right, let's check in with our weird chickens, huh? Hey there, Captain Janeway. How are you doing? Yeah, you're doing that well, huh? Good to hear. How are you guys doing on food? Well, it looks like you got plenty of food. As I've said before, as you guys keep sending me stickers for the weird chicken house, I will continue to include them, like the range from Santa Margarita, California. And no, I did not visit Santa Margarita last week. Keep Portland weird. I thought it was supposed to be Keep Austin weird. I've also seen Keep Vermont weird. I'm actually a fan of keeping all places weird, so yeah. I thought this was a particularly clever sticker. It's pond tone, it's different like pond tones, like this one is rainbow trout. There's nothing quite like a good graphic designer joke. So thanks again to everybody who's been sending me these stickers. I'm really enjoying how this is starting to look. And I feel like it really fits the whole weird chicken aesthetic. Speaking of which, Allison is officially named the weird chickens, at least the new ones. So our white fluffy girl that we have right here, her name is Bet because Allison feels like she looks like Bette Midler somehow. Apparently it's a Hocus Pocus reference that I don't even get. Our rooster, his name is going to be Mr. Frizzle. So Rosie's daughter that you see right there, her name's going to be Rosette, which is very appropriate because her mom is Rosie. And then the little lavender gal that you see right over there, her name is going to be Lavender Brown. R.I.P. Queen. So yes, the weird chickens have new names, and I don't know. I might have to get the goslings in here too because the grass is growing really high. Out of the way, little one. Scoot, scoot, scoot. If I spend about a half an hour a day doing that, this should be cleaned up pretty quickly. It's just, you don't stay on top of it, it builds up pretty darn fast. All right, you're going too slow and everybody else is way out there. Yeah, you can see most of the goslings have made it out to the good grass. All right, go join your brothers and sisters. You're getting lost there in the sea of grass, slowpoke. You'll do okay though. All right, now you're reunited. Now I gotta admit, this is exactly what I always dreamed of when I thought about having ducks and geese on the farm, out in some sort of free range situation. It's essentially a duck and goose habitat that we have here on the farm. And here's the other part of our duck and goose habitat. Hey, are you trying to join the adults? Little one, I don't think this is where you're supposed to be. Hey, Ron Swanson, how's it going? I'm gonna go do the duck and goose chores, and then if you're still there, I'll bring you back to your brothers and sisters, okay? Hey, Jemima Puddle Duck. How are you doing? You know, Jemima Puddle Duck actually is gonna have a strong, solid, supporting actress role in the new Toby Dog book. You see, when Toby Dog first came to the farm back in the winter of 2019 into 2020, that's really when the whole story takes place. And so, I don't know, it seems appropriate that Jemima Puddle Duck is going to play a role. I gotta admit, even as I'm mentioning this to you guys, like I want to tell you the whole gosh darn story because I think it's a good one. I don't want to ruin it though. So, but yes, Jemima Puddle Duck does feature prominently in the Toby Dog book. Wow, would you look at that? You know, the weather has been so abundant for insects and plants, it doesn't look like the ducks and geese are even touching their food at this point. They're happy to just get it from the pasture. Like my farm sitter gave them their full ration of food yesterday, probably right around this time, and to have, I don't know, half of it still there, that right there is a good sign. Gosh, would you guys look at all these trees? It's so exciting to see just how big everything's getting and how lush and green it is. Like we're in full tilt boogie growth mode right now, and I'm here for it. Let's move their shelter to a new spot. About right there for now. Yeah, when it comes to ducks and geese in terms of what they need for shelter, it's not much more than that. That is, if you have a security force like Toby Dog and Abby Dog. Uh-oh. This little one's trying to sneak through, and Ron Swanson escaped. Ron Swanson, get back in there. Come on, Ron Swanson, let's go. Thank you, Ronnie. And you, troublemaker, I'm gonna reunite you with the rest of your flock. Now, you guys might be wondering why I don't just put the young ones with the older ones, and there's actually two reasons. One, the younger ones will get beat up because whenever you introduce new geese to each other, they always sort of battle for hierarchy. But then number two, it actually helps me observe the goslings better, and I can see who I might want to keep and hold on to for breeding purposes for next year. And so as I think about how I mix and match my flock, it's important to like be able to observe like that. And so I'm gonna keep the younger ones on this lower pasture most of the summer. The older ones will stay out there. Come winter time though, after I do my cull, I'll mix them all together, all the remainders. Now this one, what's this one doing in with the weird chickens? Oh, so you think you're a weird chicken, huh? Here you go. Did you topple yourself over? Can you go? Don't trip yourself on the weed whacker. It looks like the scapes are coming out on the garlic. That's a good sign. The rest of Allison's garden is doing really well as well. If you guys want to see Allison do a garden tour in the next couple of videos, let me know down in the comments. And also let me know what you'd want to hear about if she did give you a garden tour. I'd be very curious. So how are my Piggly Wigglies doing, huh? How are you doing, girls? Oh my gosh, you have gotten so big since I last saw you. It's actually incredible just how quickly they've grown in a week. You know, I didn't really notice it much day in and day out, but wow, they're easily, I don't know, 120, 140 pounds. How are you doing there, Phil Leotardo? Artie Bucco? Paulie Germani? Definitely gonna have to weed whack this fence line too this morning. That's probably the most urgent priority because I don't want them getting out. But first, let's feed them. I actually have this mixture that was gonna be used by a local brewer friend, but unfortunately they had an infestation of beetles. And so while it's not good for making beer, you can easily feed it to pigs. Come on, you guys. Don't crowd me though, please. Fresh slop. So I'm debating whether or not to move them, actually. You know, there's some parts like over here where they've really done a number on it, and so it makes sense to move them. And there's other parts over there where they've like barely touched it, so I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. What do you think, girls? Do you want fresh pasture or are you happy here? I mean, I could probably leave you here for another month and you'd still have plenty of space. They have done a very good job of making that corner way down there sort of their poop zone, and so I don't know, if I just keep putting straw down on it, that should be fine. I don't know if you guys noticed this though, but it looks like they have built their own little pond. So we got like some really heavy rains here and they've been wallowing like right in that one spot. Yeah, you guys are making a mess, huh? Well, you guys enjoy the fresh grains. While you're busy eating, I'm going to be fence line trimming. Let's start by taking this off so I don't zap myself. Okay, it's now about 30 minutes later and everything is nice and trimmed. Reconnect the electricity, just like that. Now my pigs won't escape. I've actually been finding that keeping the pigs in here has been very easy. The pig chores have been very easy. Finding the feed has been pretty easy. And even if I haven't kind of hit that 90% goal of recycled food that I was hoping for, I'm still hovering somewhere around 70% or so, which is pretty good. And yes, coming through here with the weed whacker like once a week is pretty much the only major chore I have. I don't know, it takes me about a half an hour or so to go through. Just make sure there's no brush or weeds growing up too closely against the fence. I usually do like a quick daily visual check, but the once a week clearing is always really important too, so that the weeds don't get too high and short out the fence. I'm finding this summer that this tool right here has become one of the most indispensable devices I'm using. It's actually an electric weed whacker from DeWalt. I've messed around with the gas-powered ones before and I'm really not a fan. I find this one to be very lightweight and easy to use. No messing around with filters or gasoline or priming or any of that nonsense. I literally take the same exact battery I use for all of my other power tools and just slap it in, and then at the push of a button, it's going. I also got this special like little plastic dealie that works with the DeWalts. It has a combination of both the string and this like plastic blade. The two of those working together really make it nice for trying to cut down any brush that I might have to deal with. If you're curious about where to find a good deal on this, as well as where to find the blade, I'll leave a link down below and you can check it out. And yes, it is an affiliate link, so I do get a tiny bit of commission from the retailer. But more and more, I am finding that this tool right here is indispensable for keeping up with the crazy growth of summer. Hey, Toby Dog, you want to see what Abby Dog has been up to? So now while I could ordinarily just ride my bike up to the top of the pasture to check on Abby Dog, I worry that sometimes that like lets her know I'm watching her. And so today what we're gonna do is try to spy on her stealth style. Gosh, whenever I look at the farm, it always amazes me just absolutely how green and luscious everything looks this time of year. All right, so here we have the pasture. Let's see if we can find our Abby Dog. My first place that I'm gonna check is over by the cattle. So Abby usually likes to go over there. Oh wait, is that an Abby Dog right down there? I think I spotted her already. Yep, there she is. So she's actually watching over by this fence corner. I think she likes it probably because it gives her a good vantage point to the rest of the farm. I mean, so you can see her right there and her view is basically all the way out here. So she's watching the rest of the farm. That's not a bad thing. I mean, realistically speaking, a threat's gonna probably come from that way, but she's got good instincts because she's looking up like that. Let's get a little closer to her, huh? Abby's always very curious about the drone. She's not really freaked out by it though. She doesn't, I don't think, see it as a threat. I mean, ever since she was a puppy, she's been watching me fly it, so it's not like it's something new or crazy. Look at her beautiful windswept hair. She's just like, hi drone, how are you doing? Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. What do we got going on over here? The cattle are usually never a fan of the drone. Oh, look at little Beatrix, she's terrified. This is the first time Beatrix has ever seen the drone, so that's understandable. Aw, sorry B, didn't mean to scare you. Yeah, the whole herd's like, yeah, we don't want to be anywhere near that drone thing. We're gonna go over here. Yeah, they generally don't like the drone. And then as far as the chickens go, you'll notice that all the chickens are now hiding underneath the house. That's because as soon as they see the drone, they see it as a predator. You've got the roosters kind of on the outer perimeter watching things, but for the most part, most of the chickens are either in the house or underneath it. You can see the spots where they basically grazed, so there's just like a strip right along that fence line, then it came down further lower, and then you can see where they're situated right now in the part that they've really beaten down. But then if we give it a couple of weeks, it'll probably look exactly like all of this stuff over here. All right, let's see if we can find our Abby Dog again. I don't know where she went. Yep, yeah, she's still over by the fence. Yeah, I've noticed that's her post. I think I actually, did you see this rock? I think I'm going to build her house setup, at least temporarily, right there first off, because I think she likes being able to see the farm from where she is up on the top of the hill. But I don't know, maybe there's some wisdom in having a mobile fence and having her close to that fence. We'll see. Oh, Mr. Toby Dog, come here. Got a surprise for you, pal. That's right, time for a brushing. Oh my goodness. Do you guys look at this? So much Toby Dog that needs to be de-shedified. You know, I take Toby and Abby to the groomer twice a year, and then I try to brush them a couple times a week. With Abby Dog, it ends up being like once a week. With Toby Dog, I usually do it every other day. And my lord, would you look at this? This is why it's necessary. Whew. Yes, but you like it. This is our hangout time, isn't it, pal? Well, it is really good to be back here on the farm. I have missed everything terribly, and I'm happy to be back and doing my thing, and I really appreciate you guys watching. So be sure to hit that subscribe button so you can watch our next videos, and we'll be back again real soon. Have a great day, everybody.